Welcome back to this week's budget builds. This week we're going to be working with a Chevy Caprice and we're going to be upgrading the headlights. We're going to be showing you how to change out your standard headlights for LEDs on these Caprices, and we're going to also show you where there's another spot to put an LED for the top part of the headlight that it doesn't come with the American version. So to start off, we're going to do these, they're H11s. I just got these off Amazon, and they're going to be the low beams. And this is what they look like. They got a plug here. And these are actually pretty easy. We'll show you how to unplug it, and then these just go right in. And then for the brights, they're H7s. And this is what these look like. And I just also got these off Amazon. They were about $35, $33 a piece. So it was a pretty good deal. But that's what these look like. I got 6,000 Kelvin. So it's kind of a little bit of a blue tint, but I'd like the most white as possible. For the brows, I got these LEDs. I think I got them from AutoZone. They're 168s, Sylvanian, just LEDs, white LEDs, cool white. I might go with something different. I just had these laying around from my motorcycle. The Caprices actually didn't come with these from the factory with a bulb in there. So all you have to do is get these bulbs, and the socket's already in there, and you just put the bulb in and it lights right up. So on the top of the housing, it's going to show H11 for the lows, and then over here it's going to show H7 for the highs. So if you have a different year, you might have different bulbs. So go ahead and before you order them, make sure you check to see which light bulbs you need. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start pulling our trim panel off that we got. This came with the OTR intake. Another thing that we have to get out of the way is when I put the cold air intake on again, it came with this little filler plate. I'm just gonna kind of twist it out of the way so we can get down in here. So for the little brow light, there's gonna be a tab in here, and all you have to do is twist it off like that, pull it out, and we're going to install our LED light in there. It just clips right back in. So this is what the running lights will look like now. You have this new LED brow right here, and like I said, I might play around, put a different bulb in there. So now that we're in here, all these extra wires that you see are for the side marker police lights. So your car probably won't have those wires there. But we'll just pull this cover off. This is for the low beam. It just twists out. And we'll remove the bulb. There's a little tab you push in. The bulb just comes right off. So let me grab the new low beam. So we got the new LED here. You can see it's got positive and negative on there. The plug might not have positive and negative on it, but the LEDs are directional. So we'll plug it in and we'll test it to make sure it works before we put it all back together. Just like that. we'll go ahead and put the extra wires in the housing and put that cap back on and move on to the high beams. So now that we have the new LED running light and the new LED low beam, this is what they're going to look like. And we'll go ahead and install the low beam on the other side, and then we'll move on to the high beams. This side's going to be a little bit more tricky because there's some wiring in the way, and you have the fuse box right behind that headlight housing. So another thing I just found is there's some type of control box that was put in aftermarket by a police department. I'm guessing it ran the flashing lights or something. So you guys probably won't have this wiring harness in the way. I pulled this out. It's the radiator overflow tank. All you do is just lift up on it and it pops right out. And to put it back in, it looks like you just push it back down in there and it clips into place. But to get it out, see, it just sits in there, and to get it out, you just pull up on it, move it over here out of the way, and to access this, we're doing the high beam on this side. Looks just like that. It's a little tight and hard to show you. It looks like to do the low beam, you're gonna have to go through the fender well. So reach in here, we'll unplug our high beam, and this is what the high beam looks like. The high beam was the same deal, it just twisted off. And we're gonna undo these clips because the high beam is actually gonna take a little bit of modification to fit the LEDs that we got. So there's the high beam. You're gonna need this. We're gonna have to modify this in order for it to fit the new LEDs. So this little bracket right here, or this little like a cheap metal piece right here, is actually what goes into the housing of the headlight. And so here's your plug right here where the light plugs into, and this whole thing goes into the housing, and you twist it and it locks in. Well, since you're upgrading to these LEDs, your plug's all the way back here and it's not connected to the actual light housing itself. So what we're gonna have to do is take this plate off, put this on here, and then put this plate back over the top of it in order for it to go into the housing and to stay into the housing of the light. So you're gonna need a Dremel or some type of grinding tool. You could do it with a file, but we're gonna have to make this square hole round to fit this, and we're gonna have to flatten this tab. So we're gonna go ahead and show you guys how to do that. So first thing, we need to grind this section out in order for it to fit over this. So we're gonna rough it out so we can get this somewhat in there. We're gonna mark it with a pencil so we know where to grind so it fits tight. I'm gonna be using a Mac pencil grinder. You guys can use anything from a Dremel to a file, but this is just a pneumatic tool, and it'll be quick, fast, and it's small so I can get in there and be pretty precise. I'm going to take a pencil, I'm going to mark where I need to cut on both sides. And we're gonna go ahead and start grinding that down again. So what we're looking for is for this bracket to sit on this lip of the light. So we got this all ground down to fit. So this is going to sit down onto the housing of the light. Like that. So the next step, there's a small tab right here that we have to bend down so this can sit flat onto this. So I'm just going to take some pliers, bend it down. So now it just slides in, locks into place like that. Now we're going to go back to the car, and the bulb goes in and just twists, and then you're going to want to make sure that this LED bulb is straight up and down in the housing so you get your beam of light on the road. So we plugged it in, and we're going to go ahead and test to see if they work. It just goes in just like that. We'll go ahead and put the wiring, the extra wires, in there with it. Got to make sure that the bulb is straight up and down. Put the cap back on, and we'll reinstall the coolant overflow neck. All right, let's go ahead and see what they look like. So we got the running lights. We got your regular headlights. And then here's the brights. That's going to wrap up this episode for the 2012 Chevy Caprice headlight upgrade. I hope it helped you guys out. Like, subscribe, comment what you guys think. Don't forget that we're also running a new segment on here where you guys, the viewers, contact us and send in your builds, or if you guys already have a car completed, it can be anything, a nice story along with it, and we can feature you guys on our channel on a virtual car show. Hopefully we got some cool cars coming to show you guys. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.